freedom can never be absolute for a Nigerian girl child.
What does freedom mean to you personally?
Freedom means, to me personally, when I'm able to do whatever I want. Like, you have to do stuff because of like morals and stuff. That is not freedom. But when you can do anything you want, that you want, not because of someone else, because of yourself.
Freedom is, from my favorite quotes, when you don't care what anybody else in the world thinks about you. That's the only time that you're truly free.
The ability to choose.
To live without respecting authority.
Is it really freedom if it is free? I mean, if we're saying freedom, it would mean that you would have to go from being in captivity to something else. And most of the time, that something else is usually still captivity.
So how does freedom contribute to your happiness and fulfillment?
Well, freedom helps me do things I want, and when you can do things you want, you'll be happy. Because whatever makes you happy, you choose to do it. So if you are free and you are not happy, then you are not free at all.
The fact that I still care about what people think about me to a certain degree, regardless of how many times we tell ourselves we don't, shows that I'm truly not free. And if I can't truly ever be free, I don't think I truly ever feel happiness, because I'm still constricted by the norms of society, the things that tell us, oh, you should be a particular way, you should look a particular way, you should fit into a particular category of people. And then when you come out of that rule, it's like a taboo. So if by being free I'm a taboo, I don't think I'd be free.
I don't think you can even start to be happy or fulfilled if you don't have freedom in the first place. Because, but freedom is the basis of that. So like, you first have to get freedom before you can fully achieve the others.
The flip side to having too many choices, you might sometimes freeze. So I think not so much.
Okay, so do you think freedom of speech impacts society and the exchange of ideas?
I mean, like, the whole point of art is for people to be able to express themselves differently in how many different ways they want, and freedom of speech kind of impacts that, and it limits human creativity, like, really.
Absolutely.
Why do you think so?
It impacts it because it gives people, freedom of speech to say things that go on in their head that they normally wouldn't be able to say, or they'll be too scared to express. It gives people the chance to say the things they've been hiding.
I really used to believe in freedom of speech being a Nigerian, because I felt like we couldn't really say lots of the things we want to say. I mean, a lot of people say on Twitter, but you don't really go outside and say because you're afraid of what the government would do. However, when I look at America and I see how much freedom of speech has turned the place upside down, I really think they should limit them. I mean, I'm saying this very positively, like they should just shut up sometimes.
That's what freedom of speech is supposed to do, yeah? Because, if you can't speak freely, how can you exchange useful ideas? You'd still, if you think you have some sort of embargo on your speech, you'd not speak freely, and that would impact exchange of ideas or meaningful ideas.
Yeah, sure. When you know what people are thinking, it helps to like build it like a team on a good society, because some people that have bright ideas cannot talk, and if you get them to talk, we will get to like solve most of our major problems.
Are there any responsibilities that come with freedom?
Yeah, feeding yourself, having to be your own friend first, because a lot of people will not understand you.
Yeah, you kind of have to look out for yourself. You have to take care of yourself. It's surprisingly way more difficult than expected.
Yeah, it is, because now you have to caution yourself to not overdo things. You have to know that there are limits, personal limits to things, and you have to be very self-aware to not overdo.
Yes,
Okay, what do you think they are?
I think when you're truly free, you're really taking your life into your own account. Like you're only accountable to yourself. And then this time you cannot say, oh, I'm gonna blame this person that this didn't work out. This was you. This was a you thing. And confronting yourself when you do something bad is actually a really big thing, because at this point you can't blame anybody else. You just have to face yourself and say it was my fault.
So, can freedom ever be absolute, or are there always limitations?
Speaking as a Nigerian child, my freedom will never be absolute. I'm so certain my parents are planning towards my future for me if I don't work out on what I'm doing for myself. So
Can never be. My decision still affects some other people, so you still have to like consider some people over time.
Well, unless you're a psychopath, like you most likely never get absolute freedom, because like the human need to feel emotion or like participate in it. Society kind of limits what you can do.
Absolute freedom, I don't think that's possible, especially in the world that we are now, because there's always some sort of limit. If you're not a religious person, there's limits on the side of law, there is limits on the side of morality, limits on the side of social stuff. So like, yeah, there are always limits.
That's why I say I don't believe there's anything like
Yeah,
freedom. I don't think it can be
Okay.
absolute.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.